Hey guys, just wanted to give you a quick rundown on how awesome this new 2025 WR450F is. Yamaha's pretty much gone from the ground up on this new generation chassis. So once they went to the new chassis, the bike saw a lot of improvements. It's actually 50mm narrower at the widest point between your legs in the tank shrouds. It lost almost 3 kilos, which is a massive weight saving. So with the 3 kilo loss compared to the old model, it's got a very light feeling, but what Yamaha's really good and known for is the lower center of gravity, having the fuel tank under the seat. So the new design's awesome. Basically, fuel tank under the seat, airbox up the front, which has all been refined and easier to get to. Bigger air filter. The airflow on the old model bike used to really suck from the radiator fins here. The new one just kind of sucks from underneath, so you don't get that dirt and dust in the air filter like you did on the old bike. It doesn't get as dirty, but you're also getting more airflow. And then the airflow going straight through the cylinder head being reversed, exhaust coming out the rear. So there's no negative. Basically your header pipes doesn't hang down the front of the bike. You've got a lower center of gravity and your air filter don't get as dirty. So the design really hits the nail on the head. I guess what's really popular with the Yamaha lineup is the suspension. The KYB fork and shock is basically second to none. So the KYB SSS spring fork is the most desirable fork on any bike, and then matched together with the KYB rear shock. But what I feel Yamaha does a really good job of is the standard valving specs on these bikes. It's all led through a bit of a team organised by Josh Coppins that organised all the settings for this bike for the world, like for the whole market. And they do a really good job of it. The setting is quite a bit plusher than the initial compared to the YZ. It really gives you a lot more feel, and the best way to put it is it doesn't wear you out as much. If you were doing an enduro loop, you'd come back on the WR and you'd be keen to go again, where the YZ is quite stiff in the initial, it really kind of wears you out, but still got really good bottoming resistance where you can still ride a motocross track and have a good time. This WR450 here is a little bit special. We've put quite a few GTR parts on it. Kale Makeham's actually going to give this one away. It would be a pretty special one to win. It's got all the GTR ignition and clutch cover. It's got the GTR hydraulic clutch kit, which is pretty cool. A lot of people don't realise that you can buy a genuine Yamaha hydraulic clutch kit for this new generation bike. We've put the Pro Circuit TI6 Pro exhaust, so full titanium exhaust system, and it's got quite a bit of bling on it. It's just got all the Zeta brake pedal, gear shifter. Also got the GTR water fitting there. So the WR450 comes with what's called an off-road kit. The off-road kit is everything to kind of de-restrict the bike and set it up for how people want it, like more of an off-road bike in the bush. The beauty of the model is you can still fully register it, so you can run the indicators front and rear. This one's been set up with the off-road kit, so had all the rear tail light like tidied up with the shorter one, had all the indicators and the switches swapped over. So really set up for more like recreational registration, but for all those people that need full rego, this is the go-to. Can still get the full registration. The new generation bike is pretty awesome. They kind of improved on every dimension. The rider cockpit is actually a bit more roomy. There's more room from the foot pegs to the seat to the handlebars, but there's also more ground clearance from the foot pegs to the ground without compromising on seat height. So they've kind of improved every dimension by getting the frame to be a bit shorter and having the foot pegs lower in the frame. But the new generation bike's been really popular, especially with taller riders. It's a bit more roomy and easier to move around on the bike. So Yamaha also makes the YZ450FX, which is basically the same bike as the WR450F. The only differences between the two is the tyres. The WR comes with a Dunlop EN91, which is actually for a road legal tyre a really good option. The FX comes with more off-road tyres. If you compare other differences, the FX comes with a better exhaust. Most people would put a slip-on the WR. In saying that, the new generation WR, the standard exhaust is a lot more YZ inspired. It's not as big, not as ugly, not as heavy as previous model WRs comes with standard. Other differences between the FX and the WR is the WR comes standard with a radiator fan and digital speedo. Another feature that a lot of people don't realize is the speedo can actually measure fuel usage. So on the dash, it will come up that you've used 4.2 litres of fuel, and then that's resettable, and it seems really accurate, so you can really keep track of how much fuel you've used. The bike does have a fuel warning light, but that basically just telling you when you're getting low, and then you can keep track of it with that measuring device. At WBR Motorcycles, we really pride ourselves on setting these bikes up to suit the customer. So we'll really go that extra mile. We'll really try and set the sag in the suspension for people. With all the phone connectivity, we'll always try and connect the customer's phone to the bike before they leave the store and give them some custom mapping for the type of riding they'll be doing. But we just really like to set it up before we de-restrict the bike. So it comes quite restricted because you can actually ride this bike on your L's. It is LAMS approved. But as being an off-road model, if you're using it for competition purposes, we are able to kind of de-restrict the bike.